Hello again, and thank you for completing Stage 1 and building the foundation for your Understanding by Design template. Let's move on to Stage 2. In this stage, we're going to determine acceptable evidence. To start, we're going to look at performance tasks. Performance tasks are assessments where students flexibly and intelligently use what they know in a complex situation where higher order thinking in the use of content is required. So this one is all about those higher order thinking skills. We're going to try and figure out what tasks students will need to demonstrate and then how we're going to evaluate them. So let's start with the desired results code. So here you're going to go back to stage 1 and look at your transfer goals and all of your meaning goals. And you're going to code that in this column here. Then you're going to determine performance tasks. How will students demonstrate their understanding? Through complex performance. Students will show that they really understand by evidence of, and here you're going to fill out each of the performance tasks. And then the evaluative criteria. What criteria will be used in each assessment to evaluate attainment of the desired results? Regardless of the format of the assessment, what qualities are most important? So as you go through this, you're going to figure out the performance task along with the transfer and meaning goals and how you're going to evaluate that. Evaluation could mean many different things depending on what type of performance you're asking the students to do. So think through this very carefully. Once you have this section complete, you can move on to other evidence. Other evidence, here you place assessments of knowledge, skill, standards, and other goals that are not otherwise assessed by the performance tasks. So these are outside of those main performance task goals that are associated with transfer and meaning. So here we're going to look at any performance outside of that that meets meaning goals, skill, transfer, and knowledge. So any of those. So here, our other evidence will be through what other evidence, quizzes, tests, academic prompts, observation, homework, journals, anything you can think of, will students demonstrate achievement of the desired results? And then what criteria will be used in each assessment to evaluate attainment of the desired results? So for example, if you have a quiz, it's pretty straightforward how you're going to evaluate that criteria. If you're using journals, you are going to take a different approach to evaluate. So you need to code here for which of these meaning goals, skills, transfer, knowledge, and skill goals are here and align with your evidence, which align with the criteria. Remember, everything builds off another, so we need to make sure that the alignment is there all the way across and all the way down through our template. Now, the final thing that you fill out is, for some people, an easy one, and for some, a really difficult one. It is a grading rubric. Now, why do we use rubrics? We use them for clarity's sake, not only for students to understand the expectations and what is really important in an assignment or an assessment, but also for us to be able to articulate expectations for students so that there is a really clear communication between ourselves and students. It's not that we're making things easier, it's just so that they know no matter what approach they're taking, what is expected of them. Now, this rubric is may seem familiar, may be a little bit different than the ones that you've seen, but you're going to pick one of your critical assessments and develop the rubric that you will be using to evaluate it. In your rubric, you should list the criterion that you will be using to evaluate the assessment, the levels that you will use, and a description for each level or criterion. So you're going to lay out 5 criterion in which to assess, and then give descriptors for what an exemplary uh, assessment for that criterion would be, what sufficient would mean for that, what needs revision means for that, and what no evidence is. Now, we include no evidence here because it is really important that you give yourself room for that time when it's just missing, right? Because it does happen. Say they have criteria 1, 2, 3 are there, 5 is there, but 4 isn't. You need to have no evidence available here for when something just doesn't exist. All right, thank you for participating in stage 2. I hope this overview was really helpful for you. I'll see you when we go over stage 3. Thank you.